The Black Sea may finally breathe again. After years of naval blockades, sunken ships, and disrupted trade, Ukraine and Russia have reportedly agreed to a ceasefire, and the logistics world is watching closely. This isn't just about politics. It's about grain corridors, energy exports, and the arteries of global shipping that run through the Black Sea. Let's rewind for a moment. When Russia invaded Ukraine in early 2022, the Black Sea became a battlefield overnight. Ports shut down. Vessels were stranded. Maritime insurance costs skyrocketed. And for a region that handles nearly 30% of the world's wheat exports, the disruption was catastrophic. Shipping lines rerouted or paused operations. Cargo insurance providers pulled out or raised premiums. And millions of tons of Ukrainian grain sat in silos, unable to reach markets in Africa, Asia, or the Middle East. A temporary solution came in 2022, the UN-brokered Black Sea Grain Initiative, which allowed limited grain exports. But that deal collapsed in mid-2023, leaving the region unstable once again. Until now. If you find this kind of content helpful, support the channel by liking and subscribing. It helps us continue making valuable videos for the international trade community. Ceasefire announcement, logistics lens. According to a recent report by Supply Chain Brain, Ukraine and Russia have reached a mutual understanding to pause all military activity affecting Black Sea trade routes. This includes key commercial ports like Odessa, Chornomorsk, and Mykolaiv. While the ceasefire is not a full diplomatic treaty, it is a logistics-specific truce. Both sides have agreed to avoid targeting commercial vessels, keep shipping lanes and port infrastructure out of conflict, allow unarmed grain and cargo ships safe passage through designated corridors, reinstate real-time communication channels between maritime authorities to avoid accidental escalation. The agreement reportedly includes third-party monitoring, possibly through Turkey or neutral maritime watchdogs, to track vessel movements and ensure compliance. Why does this matter? Even a fragile ceasefire opens the door to restoring trade volume in the region. For carriers and shippers, this is the first time since mid-2023 they can consider re-entering Black Sea lanes with a reasonable expectation of safety. And with maritime insurers hinting at adjusted risk premiums, there's renewed hope that trade can flow, even cautiously, once again. What this means for global shipping. If the ceasefire holds, the logistics impact could be transformational. Not just for Ukraine and Russia, but for supply chains across Europe, Asia, and beyond. Grain exports could surge. Ukraine is often called the breadbasket of Europe. Before the war, it exported over 50 million metric tons of grain annually, much of it through Black Sea ports. With safe corridors restored, analysts expect grain exports to increase by 30 to 40%. Freight prices on key routes to stabilize. And reduced pressure on food importing nations in regions like North Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. Port operations may resume at scale. Ports like Odessa were operating at reduced capacity or completely offline. If workers return, customs resume, and vessels are cleared to dock, this could spark a logistics rebound. We could see a rise in dry bulk shipping traffic. Container carriers cautiously resuming routes. Repair and reconstruction of port infrastructure. Energy shipments still tricky. Russia's oil and LNG exports have continued during the war. But Ukrainian energy shipments, including biofuels and coal, have been heavily constrained. This ceasefire may help reopen inland rail to sea energy routes, support intermodal freight hubs, and allow smaller ports to participate in energy and minerals exports. Insurance and freight forwarding may recover. Black Sea shipping has been high risk and high cost. Insurers either exited the region or raised premiums by 5 to 10 times. Now, early signs suggest insurance premiums are being reassessed. Freight forwarders are reactivating contracts. And major shipping lines are considering pilot routes through the Black Sea. Who benefits and what challenges remain? First, let's look at who stands to benefit from the ceasefire. Ukrainian exporters are positioned to gain the most. From grain and sunflower oil to iron ore and fertilizers, Ukraine's economy depends heavily on maritime trade. A ceasefire focused on logistics gives them a path to recovery and renewed access to global markets. Neighboring countries such as Romania, Turkey, and Bulgaria could also benefit. These nations have played a key role as transshipment hubs during the conflict. Safer Black Sea routes could increase their port activity, rail usage, and trucking demand. Global shippers and bulk carrier operators may find new opportunities. With traffic returning to the Black Sea, shipping companies can rebalance their global networks and reduce congestion at overused ports in the Mediterranean and the Middle East. Import-dependent nations in Africa and Asia are also watching closely. Stable Ukrainian exports would improve food security, reduce commodity prices, and help alleviate supply shortages caused by the war. However, several challenges still stand in the way. Trust between Ukraine and Russia remains fragile. This ceasefire is not a full peace agreement, and any violation could halt progress and disrupt shipping once again. Another issue is maritime safety. Naval mines are still scattered across key sections of the Black Sea. Clearing those safely will take time, and no major carrier will risk full operations until these waters are secure. Insurance policies are still uncertain. While some maritime insurers are re-evaluating risk, many are still hesitant to offer full coverage. Without reliable insurance, many vessels will remain sidelined. Finally, infrastructure damage presents a real bottleneck. Ukrainian ports have suffered physical damage to cranes, terminals, rail lines, and storage facilities. Restarting full operations will require reconstruction and investment, which may delay the return to normal trade flows. What to watch next and final thoughts. The logistics community is cautiously optimistic, but no one is calling this a full recovery just yet. In the coming weeks, all eyes will be on the volume of vessels re-entering the Black Sea. If shipping lines and insurers begin to follow through, it will signal real momentum behind this ceasefire agreement. Another key factor to watch is grain exports. If Ukrainian ports begin shipping grain at scale again, it will ease global food supply tensions and stabilize prices across multiple markets. Maritime traffic data and port activity will also be critical. Analysts will track whether container, bulk, and energy shipments begin to normalize or continue at reduced capacity. It's also worth monitoring the role of international observers. If third-party monitors such as Turkey or independent maritime authorities successfully keep the corridors open, the ceasefire could hold longer than expected. But most importantly, stakeholders across logistics, agriculture, and energy must remain flexible. The region is still volatile, and any sudden breakdown could bring disruptions roaring back. For now, the ceasefire offers a glimmer of hope. A chance to restore trade through one of the world's most vital maritime zones. A chance for logistics, once again, to lead the way toward stability. Thanks for watching today's update on the Black Sea ceasefire and its impact on global logistics. As always, we focus on the trade routes, supply chains, and maritime developments that keep the world moving, without the political noise. If you found this video helpful, support the channel by liking and subscribing. It helps us continue making valuable videos for the international trade community. Drop a comment below and let us know, will this ceasefire hold? And how do you think it will affect global shipping in the months ahead? Sources are listed in the video description for further reading. Thanks for supporting the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.